Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, Surviving Narcissism Together. Okay, so learning about new supplies and how narcissists use them and manipulate them. Have you ever looked at their relationship and wondered how the heck are they still together? Did they make it work? No, but they made it last. That's the difference. So in today's video, we'll explore this topic further. Okay, so after everything they've done, the manipulation, the lies, the emotional abuse, it could seem confusing as to how some narcissists end up in long-term relationships or even married. I myself questioned my covert narcissistic ex, wondering how did he maintain a relationship. Maybe they actually love this person, but no, it's not love. They maintain relationships not out of genuine care or connection, but for these reasons: control, image, and ego supply. So one of the ways narcissists manage to keep their relationships going is, and you should never envy them, by the way, never envy the new supply, is that the relationship is built on ego. So sometimes two narcissists, funnily enough, could end up together, which is such beautiful karma, by the way. At first, you think this can't work. Two people obsessed with themselves, constant drama, right? Well, yes, but not in the way you expect. When two narcissists partner up, it's often because their relationship serves as an agenda. Their bond over their bond is really over power, it's over status, it's over appearances, not love. It's for show, it's how it's gonna look. It's a transaction, it's not a connection. You don't want a relationship like that. That's not love. To outsiders, of course, it might seem glamorous, it might seem exciting, even perfect. But behind closed doors, it's toxic. It's full of competition, it's full of manipulation, and emotional warfare. Each person is using the other to fuel their ego. And when the fuel runs dry, the whole thing collapses. So never envy what looks like a power couple. It's usually a power struggle. Another way narcissists stay in long-term relationships is by using religion or community image as a mask. So for some narcissists, the outward appearance of a happy, stable relationship is essential for maintaining their social standing. So marrying in a religious community setting allows them to really uphold a mask of, respectability, and ensure that their supply could be retained without any scrutiny. So divorce or separation, for example, could be very socially unacceptable in these types of environments, It's very taboo in these types of environments. So the narcissist will use this as leverage to maintain the relationship. Like, hey, this is why we cannot separate. Like, I know we're going through issues, but we cannot separate because how would it look? Now, an example of this is my experience with my ex. When he ascended to the spiritual leader role in his organization, which was right after our breakup, shortly after our breakup, he got engaged to his new supply within a 6-month period and got married within an 8-month period. So this quick marriage was not about love, which he admitted, by the way. Stupidly enough, he admitted that it would look better if they were seen as one and not necessarily dating. So it was not about love, it was about image of like that righteous, stable relationship that aligned with his status being a spiritual leader. And by the way, he was not even ordained to be a spiritual leader. His mother, being the wife of the spiritual leader at the time, just wrote him in to be a leader. So narcissists don't even put in the work to do anything. He didn't even put in the work to be a leader. When he got married, it really crushed me to see him move on so quickly. Thinking like, wow, maybe they have a great relationship and hence why I got married. I didn't know at the time what narcissism was. it seemed like they were a perfect couple, but through the grapevine, it seemed like they were a perfect couple, especially in their community. But through the grapevines, I heard like his wife was emotionally distressed. She was, actually leaving him. It had many instances where she left him, where she she started to get really ill, and it just had a lot of constant conflict between them. He himself got ill. She even referred to their marriage as a marriage of hell. And that resonated with me because, to the outside world, you're presenting your relationship as a perfect facade, sharing pictures of smiles and laughter, and oh, you wish you could go back to, the day you got married and this and that. But then it's like you're saying it's a marriage of hell to people they're opening up to. So when the truth emerged, and the new supply herself manipulated him to get what she wanted, their marriage became a cycle of mutual exploitation. And eventually she kept leaving him and whatnot. So it took a toll on her, both emotionally and physically. So she grew increasingly unwell and losing weight and becoming visibly exhausted. So this is what I mean. The marriage might seem ideal to outsiders because it allows for that sort of appearance of a happy, stable relationship to maintain that social standing. But actually, it's really miserable and it's a toxic union. So, don't envy a narcissist's marriage for the reality that it is far darker than the image they project. This is why I say don't look at social media. Social media is to fool you. They actually post things to mess with you. Do not look at social media. Get educated on this topic and leave with that knowledge. Remember it, replay it in your mind so that these people don't fool you. So another reason why narcissists maintain a long-term relationship, and I think it's like the most cruel way, is by choosing someone they could completely control. A lot of the times they choose someone which it's really terrible to describe people as this, but it's what this community calls a downgrade. They choose someone that's a downgrade, right? It's someone that they could control, because the narcissist to them is going to look like a trophy, right? So this is really known as a servant dynamic. So the narcissist would seek out someone who's vulnerable, very insecure, and sort of trains them to believe that they are not worthy of anything better, that the narcissist is all they could get. So they sort of trauma bond that victim to them. This is really a way of grooming their new supply. So what they do, as we talked about the cycle already, they love bomb and they gaslight them into thinking that they'll never find someone who would love them as deeply as the narcissist does, right? And even in my own experience, I think he really played on my insecurities as well, and making me feel inadequate about my appearance and convincing me I would never get anything better. So in that way as well, he isolated me from my family and friends, so I really had no network to lean on. This further trapped me in the toxic cycle. So what he did was he'd often breadcrumb me, so offer me small gestures, like a single balloon on my birthday, which he presented as something incredibly special, right? To me, it was an upgrade from the childhood I never had, which was a childhood of, birthdays and holidays. Those events went uncelebrated because I myself was raised by a narcissist, and I'll get into that another time. So because he really knew about those insecurities, he played off those, and he would future fake me, promising that one day I'd be treated like a princess, one day I'd get all the balloons, we'd get married, he'd get the best cake instead of a really small cake, you know what I mean? And just give me breadcrumbs to let me get full off now, as well as his future faking promises. So in the time that he was doing that to me, it felt like hope, but in reality it was nothing more than manipulation. It was nothing more than gaslighting and control. So don't be deceived by these false promises. It's okay if you will. It's okay if you will, but recognize that they're breadcrumbs that the narcissist is offering for you to get full off. What seems like love is just a strategy to keep you trapped. Please do not fall for this. Just to kind of wrap up and conclude a bit, it's that narcissists really stay in long-term relationships for the reasons that have little to do with love or mutual respect. Whether they are partnering with another narcissist to fuel their egos or maintaining a socially acceptable facade for like religious or community reasons, or exploiting someone's poor vulnerabilities to meet their own needs, understand that these relationships are destructive and ultimately unsustainable. I know that many of you in your hearts wish that they could be the person that you were with in the beginning. That was all a lie, and it's very hard to wrap your head around. I know, I understand. I've been there too. We've all been there. But you need to accept that this person, this reality, that's who they are. When that mask slipped off, that's who that narcissist is. Do not be envious of these new supplies because they're not living a good life. And I often notice that people would even post to compensate for the fact that they're not having a good relationship behind the scenes. So don't fall for these things. Don't even look at their social media posts. If you find yourself in a relationship with a narcissist, remember what they offer is never truly love. It's a manipulative game designed to keep you under their control, and you don't want that. You want to be actually loved. So these are the ways in which narcissists keep people around, by convincing them that this is as good as it gets. So if you ever find yourself looking at a narcissist relationship again and think, why did they move on so fast? Why are they still together? Remember, it's not about love, it's about leverage. It's about control, and it's about keeping the illusion. And also keep in mind that one day when that supply stops serving them, the cycle will repeat. So don't envy the relationship. Don't wish you were in the new supplies place. Wish them from freedom. Feel sorry for them because they're in for a rough ride as well. Wish them freedom and protect your peace. So if this video brought you any clarity, please give this video a thumbs up and share your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe. Remember, we're moving from victims to survivors to victors, okay? So thanks for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.